Hello, I'm Will, I'm the Book Geek. And this is a top 5 video. My top 5 classics. Let's hope this makes a good thumbnail. Anyway, so let's start, shall we? So, when picking these, I picked books that left a mark. There are countless classics that I could pick that I love, be it Jane Austen, be it... Well, to be honest, I could do a video of 100 of them. But I've had to pick 5 that I won't say are my top 5, but I would say they're 5 that left a massive mark, and they're 5 classics that I think are a nice, easy way to get into them. And some of them's very old, and some of them are quite new. So let's start with 5. F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. If you don't know what this is about, you've been under a rock. I picked this because I love the story. I love the golden age of jazz, the tragic, untold love story that just hits. It's a really brutal ending, but it's so beautiful and the language is pretty. F. Scott Fitzgerald is one of my favourite writers, and sadly he died thinking he was a failure. But he has done so many books that are amazing, including Gatsby, The Beautiful and the Damned, and a countless list of others. So do check out Gatsby. It's quite short as well. I always describe Gatsby as very easy to read. 4. Bram Stoker's Dracula. This, I think we all know the story of Dracula, but I think most people, if unaware of the book, know the Hollywood version. It's predominantly written in the form of letters and diary entries across from one of the main characters. And I love that, because you hear it from one side. You hear his view of what's going on. You know, I think this book started it all when it comes, in my opinion, to Gothic fiction. And it's definitely a worthy read. It's not the easiest read. I think some people may struggle with the language, but it is worth picking up. 3. Picture of Dorian Gray. This book is also in my top 5 LGBT books because, well, Oscar Wilde was a raving gay. I.e., welcome to my club. It's a book about vanity. It's a book about life. It's a book about getting what you want and not dealing with the consequences. It was first published in 1890, and there was a massive scandal behind this book. It was edited, and there are 2 versions. There is this version and an unedited version, with more of definitely a much stronger gay subtext. It's fantastically written, and it gave me nightmares. We're definitely in the gothic thing with this. This one's a chunkster, and it's the classics of all classics. Homer, the Iliad. I think people in one form or another know the Iliad and the Odyssey because of the stories have been retold countless times. We all know Helena of Troy. We all know the Trojans. We all know these stories and myths, and it's beautiful to read. There are countless versions of this, countless translations. This is the first book. The Iliad and the Odyssey is its semi-sequel. This version is written in verse, though you can get some that have been rewritten into more conventional style of writing, for want of a better description, and others that are completely rewritten into modern English. There are countless versions of this, so if you want to read it as probably as close to it would be, then try this version. If not, there are countless others, so you can actually go into this many different ways to enjoy the story. Homer was an ancient Greek writer, and to be blunt about it, these are the classics to end all classics. Other than the Bible, these are the oldest works of fiction in publication. Controversial. So yes, these are fantastic, and no one's 100% sure of the writing date. I've gone through everything imaginable, but these are definitely the Odyssey and the Iliad, particularly the Iliad is my favourite out of the two, are worth picking up. It's weird to think these are also parts of around 14 scrolls, or equivalent of books, and only 2 remain. So, yes. Don't worry, there's no more ancient Greek literature in here. My final top 5 classic is Wuthering Heights. This book, I'm going to read this to you. Wuthering Heights is a story of 2 families, both joined and rivalled by love and hate. Cathy is a beautiful, wealthy young woman torn between the soft-hearted lover and Heathcliff, the passionate and resentful man who has loved her since childhood. This book is about selfish, horrible people doing selfish, horrible things to each other. It's brilliant. It's, again, with the gothic fiction, but it's so... God. It was Emily Bronte's only book. She had published it before her death, and then after her death, her sister went in, did some edits, and republished the book. This is the edited version, although you can get the unedited version as well. She only ever wrote this one book and then died. I mean, the Bronte sisters were quite depressing. But this is brilliant. It was one of the first classics I ever read, and I just remember getting to that end and thinking, Jesus Christ, it just punched me in the gut. It was absolutely phenomenal, and definitely a book that is worth picking up. There's some great BBC radio plays of this and audiobooks if you're uncertain. I found this quite easy reading. I do wish this was a bigger paperback just because of my eyesight is appalling. So yes. I want to know, what are your favourites? What would you add to the list? Have you read any of those? Because I think that would be really cool to find out. And I'm also going to say, please like and subscribe for more. And please hit that little bell icon somewhere on my page, because I'm very aware that some of my videos aren't getting seen. And I've been told, oh, my videos aren't in my newsfeed. In someone's newsfeed. And it's like, well, they should be, but please hit that little bell icon if you want. All links are in the doobly-doo, and I will see you guys later.